My name is Funkus, and this is what makes games successful based on 100 games I analyzed. So, a little bit about me. Just graduated from Wits. I'm solo developing games at the moment, and I recently escaped from Arkham Asylum. So, the format of this, very briefly, is that each point will have one example. All of these games will have been released post-2010. There is no Billboard Hot 100 for video games, unfortunately. So, I had to do all of this manually, so I'm going to have made stuff somewhere. And finally, success is relative. Guilty Gear is a massive success for a fighting game. If Call of Duty had have done the same numbers, they would have canned Activision as a whole. So, point one, kill more babies. There will come a time in your project, inevitably, when you have to pivot your game. Because otherwise, you're going to release a game that was supposed to be released in 2016 in 2024, and it's going to be shit. And as an extension of that, you are going to have to kill your babies. There is going to be things on your project that you love because it's your idea, and it's going to just take time from everything else that makes your game good, and you're just going to have to can it. That being said, to go against all of that previous advice, if you are going to hold on to your baby boy and make it work no matter what, make it work damn well. Doom Eternal took pretty much none of the feedback about Doom 2016, and it's still an amazing game because they knew what they wanted to do and they did it damn well. On to tip two, the most important thing to making your game successful is being in the right genre at the right time. But that's very hard because you're competing with every other game in your genre. So what I found to be the most successful strategy is to not try and compete with open world mega game 10,000 because you don't have the money or the time to do that. You are not making GTA 6. Instead, go into a category that is under catered to. So Inzoi, pretty mid-game, still has mostly positive reviews on Steam because unlike its competition, it doesn't charge $120 a year to play the game. And on that, when you are going to a genre, be aware of the standards. Fighting games are notoriously difficult to get into because they will go back to games that released before any of us were born because fighting games have a ridiculously long lifespan. They are still supporting games from the 90s actively. So go into a genre instead like flight simulators where there are like two and you just got to do something those two aren't doing. Then when it comes to timing yourself with trains, you can be that guy and ride those trains, right? But that is so difficult. And what you should be doing instead is you should be subverting the trains, which is what Marvel Rivals did. Waited till the hype died down on hero shooters, boom, drop one of the best hero shooters. Just be careful to not screw up your timing. Not screwing up your timing is way worse than kind of not getting your timing right in the first place because Titanfall 2, near perfect game, still timed that release so badly that it flopped. On the next point, I'm going to try to not sound like John Capitalism saying this, but women want more games. The majority of successful games, on PC at least, are aimed at either both genders or men, and that's based off about 41% of Steam's users are women. So how do we increase that number? How do we make the women who are already using Steam play more games? Well, it's not about putting a pink bow on an AK-47. It is about making women feel comfortable in the gaming space by using good community moderation and by kind of creating faces for your game that invite people instead of excluding them. This is a big thing to tack onto that point, but this also works for queer and neurodivergent people as well. Finally, pro-life tip, don't assume women are desperate. Just because you have a niche audience does not mean you have a captive audience. The Infinity Nikki devs found out this the hard way when they got girl-carted to Kingdom Come because they ruined the entire game. Next, tip 4, get freaky with it. Be weird. Just because you're not making a mainstream game doesn't mean you can't be a mainstream success. Balatro is like one of the most successful games ever, and it is a poker roguelike. It is so weird. But that being said, if you are going to make some weird, freaky game, ease players into it. The Finals, amazing game, but it tutorializes itself so badly that most people who I've introduced to the game stop playing in like 2 weeks. Then on like kind of a related note, when you're doing the graphics of your game, don't assume that just because you have the best graphics, you're going to have the best sales. It's not how it works. Clair Obscur is in many ways made with tools all of us can access, but we can't recreate it because we don't have that clarity of vision and direction that they have. That's what makes a game graphically impressive these days. And then if you are going to make your game graphically weird and have a very specific style, don't underestimate how much of a selling point that can be for your game, as you'll see from the next slide. Everyone put up your hands if you can immediately identify what game this is from. It is Cruelty Squad, for those of you who don't know. And so this is awesome, though, because what it means is every time someone sees a Cruelty Squad screenshot, they're like, oh, it's that game with the organ harvesting. And they go to Steam. They might go to Steam and buy your game. And that's great free marketing. Which, on the subject of free marketing, TikTok is the secret sauce, guys. Like, looking at the past few years and what games were successful, Helldivers 2 is definitive proof that viral marketing is way better than successful marketing. Sony screwed the marketing for that so bad, but still a massive success because it was clippable. So making your game clippable, there's kind of like two broad ways of doing it. You can either make your game very cinematic, so it's very impressive to look at when you see a clip on your TikTok, or you can do it by making your gameplay systems very emergent. So that's what Lethal Company did. Everyone's seen at least one clip of someone absolutely screaming their minds off because they turned around a corner and so there was a nutcracker with a shotgun that blew them up. And the final trick, so the peak, the very pinnacle of success in going viral is being the definitive child labor game, which is kind of my way of saying being known for something so that if that thing is mentioned, for example, games with child labor, people will usually go to your game. So Frostpunk did this really well because it was probably one of the only games in which you can send children to work in a coal mine. And so it comes up in conversation a lot, even years after it's been relevant, which is what, if you can achieve that, you're done. You're a successful game. So to recap, step 1, kill more babies. Step 2, pick the right genre and pick the right genre for the time you're going to release your game. Tip 3, make more games for women. This is just kind of a general request because there aren't enough. Tip 4, get weird with it. You can make a very successful game even if it's very weird. And then finally, tip 5, go mega viral. So, and then finally, if you are only going to have 2 takeaways from this whole talk, it would be time your genre right and viral marketing. And that's kind of it from me. Yeah. Thank you.